what I would like to emphasize is that this idea of the continuous operations mindset is really the core of our program design. Has been more or less, but as a startup, you're a little bit unstructured, right? You don't know really sometimes what you do and how you do it, right? But now we are coming into age, and that's why we are now better prepared and better able to capture that. And so in the end, what we do is we try to instill in our students, in our graduates, the future skills. And not when it's too late, but really when it's happening in the classroom. And now when we go out and talk about the continuous operations mindset, it may be good to have an idea what that really means. And it also is something where we should be, in that sense, also proud, because we are a business school that can instill these future skills better than other business schools. Because we have this heritage in logistics and supply chain management. So be it if we are in marketing, accounting, finance, we can learn a lot from the philosophies, models, frameworks that are discussed in logistics and supply chain management. And this is something that we can do as a business school and that other business schools can't do because they don't have this heritage. So what we do, we break down this idea of the continuous operations mindset into 5 KLU graduate attributes, right? So we try to instill in our learning objectives, in the design of our programs, what does it really mean? What do we want to achieve? And where does it come from? And our attribute number 1 is this holistic and system thinking, right? If you think about logistics and supply chain management, it's clear, but we always think in entire systems, from raw materials to the end consumer. And of course, now in every business discipline, you have to think in these systems, right? So you should look at interconnections, right? You should look beyond a problem, what causes the problem, right? Not just reacting to symptoms, but going behind the symptoms. This is applying everywhere. And of course, we can learn a lot from logistics and supply chain management. Then it's of course about data-driven, evidence-driven decision-making, systematic decision-making, not make your decisions based on gut feelings. Logistics and supply chain management, they tell us a lot about optimization, efficiency, effectiveness, using data, models, frameworks. And now, as you know from your studies at KLU, yes, we do some quantitative stuff, right? That means we want to make decisions based on hard models, frameworks, data, evidence-driven, not based on gut feeling. So this applies for every program, every graduate that we have. The third one is about resilience and responsiveness. This is something that also knows, that supply chain management knows from its beginnings, right? They are always confronted with disruptions, be it natural disasters or be it changes in the geopolitical landscape. But of course, now for every manager, be it in marketing, in finance, right? Think about the financial crisis, you have to be resilient, right? So how can we instill this resilience into personal behavior as a manager, but also how can we shape organizations to become more resilient and more responsive? This is also one of the key traits that we try to instill and that we are instilling in our programs. The fourth one is about responsible and sustainable leadership. Also something where supply chain management as a usual suspect as being the bad guy when it comes to CO2 emissions, or when it's about the bad guy when it comes to sourcing, has been already been confronted with. Again, think about our star Alan McKinnon. Yesterday he got his farewell, right? So we are driving this, right? So we are supporting this idea of how we can create more sustainable organizations. And this is something that we try to instill in all of our graduates, no matter what program they are studying. And finally, the last one is, you heard it already with the hand, it's about getting things done. So we're trying, of course, not to stay on a strategic level. We try to implement the strategies, make actionable plans, get tangible results. I would say this is not a future skill. I think this is a skill that is relevant already for a long time, right? It's already, Winston Churchill once said, you should not only look at your strategy, you should also, of course, look at the results. Winston Churchill. So this is something we then are also doing in the classroom, right? With real-world projects, with looking at real cases, inviting corporate partners with real problems, so that we always are in this position to translate the strategy into tangible results. Right? So if you may go out and you ask, what is this leading with operations mindset about? Then think about these 5 key attributes, right? These are the 5 key attributes that we can instill in our students much better than other business schools, not despite, but because of our heritage in logistics. So in this regard, I would also like to thank you, especially the alumni, right? Looking at the journey, right? That you somehow believed in our mission here, right? And it was, of course, maybe a risk, right? I have been maybe more well-known, more business with a bigger brand, but you decided for the KLU and you went with this journey with us. So I would like to thank you for taking this risk, and I hope you don't regret that. And so finally, and finally, I think it's for all of us, all of our stakeholders of KLU, be it alumni, current students, corporate partners, the faculty, the administration, the staff, all contributing to KLU, we should be proud. We should be proud because in the end, I believe as the Dean of Programs, we are really educating leaders that shape the future and that can lead in the future with purpose and impact. So thank you very much.